So, amongst the great things that I see about this book, which we're calling here The Ultimate Connection with God, this is Rabbi Mimran's work. Rabbi Mimran is like an itinerant guy that's going around the world spreading Torah in the form of Kabbalah. He's doing tremendous things. He's a very sincere person. He mentions for us and instructs us in the teachings of people that he learned from. So over here in this particular place, we have quotes that he is going to give from the work of Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan's book, Jewish Meditation. It goes about practical meditation, what it means. So he writes like this as an introduction. I guess this is Aryeh Kaplan's work. He says, a preparation for meditation is important as the meditation itself. As the proverb goes, to fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. Since Rav Kaplan Zitzal summarizes the process beautifully, I felt it of no need to duplicate his words, Rabbi Mimran writes. Rather, let them speak for themselves. So now we'll start to talk about techniques in meditation. Now, one of the things that I want to know is that most people who know me know that I'm the Court of Breslov, and so I've been following Rabbi Nachman since, I don't know, the early 80s. And so I was deeply involved in it. I've gone off to learn Sod because that's part of the process with Rabbi Nachman, and now come over here. So there is a time of need. This is the way that Rabbi Nachman, the way I see it, there's a time of need when you need to come close to Hashem. This could propel you, but you need technique. Just to talk to Hashem is great. It's the greatest possible thing. But how about if you could focus that better? So he writes like this. There's a type of meditation using a verse. So he says, what's that mean? If the verse is used visually as the basis for meditation, so let's say you have it in front of you, this verse. So if it's in front of you, and you're using this for the basis for meditation, write the verse on a piece of paper, or you could take it out of a book and use it as a focus. Now remember, as he starts to say this, the concept that Rabbi Mimran has been talking about of clearing your mind of extraneous thoughts, which are really the thoughts of defensive thoughts. I'm going to get through this and that, this problem, that problem. Clear those thoughts. How could you do this? Fix your gaze on the verse. Do not take your eyes off it. The verse should become the center of your attention to the exclusion of everything else. It should be as if nothing else in the world exists other than the verse. You can then gaze at the verse and allow your thoughts to flow freely. But you have to be able to do it. I say that I'm speaking for myself. I have to be able to do it to the exclusion of anything else and spend time with it. On a more advanced level, you could use this method to clear the mind of all thought other than the verse. So that's what Rabbi Nachman has been saying, to remove the monkey talk from your head. In lieu of gazing at the written verse, you could repeat the verse over and over again for the entire period of meditation. Let's say you're going to meditate for 15 minutes. So you find this verse and you just can look at the verse and you keep saying it over and over again. I'm going to tell you experience that during the period of time I was really most closest to Breslov. So people came from Sfat. And people came from Sfat, they just came really to raise money. They weren't coming to teach us Torah, but they did this. They do things like this. First, everybody's there and everybody's full of all of their hassles and all the things they're doing. They get up and they dance a little bit. They get everybody just to dance a little. I don't want to dance. I got this and that. I start dancing. So you dance a little bit. After the dancing a little bit, well, it really changes things a little bit because they're using song while they're dancing around. Mitzvah Gedola Lihios. What was it? Mitzvah Gedola. I remember the last part. Mitzvah Gedola. So it'll come back to me. Lihios B'Simcha. Okay? It's a tremendous mitzvah to be happy. And you say it over and over and over again. And at first I was very resistant to this. Then after that, I started singing along, of course, and as I did that, then the whole mood that I was in changed. And it really became a symphony. but they sang this song for 15 minutes. It's just ridiculous. But the simcha kept growing. That's the idea here. This would be a verbal meditation as opposed to a visual contemplation. In general, so we're going on and we're writing like this. For the preparations for meditation are straightforward, mantra meditation, and simple. So it's the mantra itself that is the verse we're talking about, and keep it simple. You should meditate in a time and place where you will not be interrupted or disturbed by people, phone calls, or noise. So this is the concept of Rabbi Nachman taking us out into the forest. Now, he has much more to develop in the concept of the forest, but that's what it is. It was best to have a special room for meditation, if possible. Since this is a luxury that few can afford, you may choose a special corner of the house, a special chair or a room where you could be alone at night when no one else is about. The place is really not important as long as it is an environment where you will not be interrupted. You can even meditate under the covers in bed at night, if it is a place where you know you will not be disturbed. An excellent place, if available, would also be the synagogue, when no one is around to disturb the meditative session. I've said to myself many times that I love going into an empty synagogue. The kedusha there is fantastic. And then we bring all the schlepp in along with us, all the toil and all the problems that are along with us, and then you start getting a social environment. You don't feel it as much. This is a great place. So he said many people associate meditation with the Eastern Lotus position. Now, I know there is such a thing. However, we should remember that in the East it was common to sit on the floor on a mat, so that the lotus position was close to the normal, comfortable sitting position. Now, I was at the Zeicha for Eastern meditators of being in the Middle East. At least I made it as far as Afghanistan is concerned, and they don't have tables and chairs. They sit on the floor, basically. So everybody sits on the floor. And when they go to the bathroom, they also, it's like they sit over a hole. So basically that's probably the healthiest way to do this, but at any rate, that's what they do. So they don't have this. For Westerners, the position is difficult to learn because we're used to sitting in chairs and is initially quite uncomfortable. In practice, it is found that sitting in a comfortable, straight-back chair is just as effective as sitting in the lotus position. So he says, during meditation, sit with the eyes lightly closed, totally relaxed. In other words, don't squeeze on yourself. Your hands can rest comfortably on the table or on your lap. Your fingers should not be clasped or intertwined, as the Kabbalists teach that this should be avoided. Rather, if your hands are together, one should rest lightly on the other. I know to see in many places that it should be the right hand over the left, but that wasn't stated here. Before beginning meditation, now let me see if I have enough room. Yeah, I think we're still okay. He said, before beginning a meditation, settle yourself in the place. Get yourself settled, he says. So he says, this means sitting quietly in the place where you will be meditating, fitting it into making yourself at ease. So get comfortable in the position you put yourself in. During this period, try to relax completely, clearing your mind of all extraneous thoughts. Now, he has created concern. So he gave us a technique. Stare at that word. Some people find it helpful to hum a relaxing melody during these preparatory moments. This period should last between 5 and 10 minutes. Now, Rabbi Mimran quotes, again, we were reading actually the words of Rav Kaplan. So he says, let us assume that you're using verses such as Ribono Shel Olam. I think I mentioned that in one of the shiurim because this is a verse that Kabbalists have used, and it's proffered by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. The Hebrew word for universe, on the other hand, is olam, which is derived from the root olam, meaning to conceal. So what are we talking about? Therefore, in a Hebrew phrase, you have this phrase, Ribono Shel Olam, the universe is seen that which conceals the divine. Okay, so we're saying Ribono, he's the one behind the concealment. Thus, when one says Ribono Shel Olam, denoting Master of the Universe, one is saying that concealed behind the universe there is a Master. Thus, in repeating this mantra, one is making oneself aware of the hidden reality behind the visible one. This is Baruch Fleischman, and this has been the 52nd Shir in Rabbi Mimran's really, I think, great work, The Ultimate Connection with God.